Welcome back to AM Northwest. Working from home has morphed from a temporary solution to a new normal. Here to share some important tips to help you stay on track, we welcome back career strategist and professional brand expert, Dr. Carol Parker Walsh. Hi, Carol.
Hi there.
These tips are so helpful. So this working at home is a new normal. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it really is the new normal. I mean, you think about it, so many organizations have thought about staying home. I mean, we heard like Google and some big organizations have decided, you know what, let's just keep everybody working remotely. And then there's so many people who, because of health reasons, they can't go back. So they need to stay in this kind of remote working situation until, we kind of get a handle on things, particularly right now because we're moving into flu season and things of that nature, just a little bit more guarded to be able to stay at home. So it's really becoming the new normal. And I think moving forward, we're going to see more and more people who are working remotely.
Right. And you have 6 strategies. So let's start with the first one. You say create.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, it's about creating boundaries and structure, right? If you were working from home and you set up that card table or you were occupying the dining room table or things of nature, now is time to really create a space for you. Create a boundary and create a place in your home where you actually feel like you're going to the office and where you're actually going to work. And you want to create a structure in your day as well. Want to treat it, you save that commute time, but you want to use that time to prepare. You want to take breaks. You want to have real stop time. Because what happens is the boundaries get blurred between home and work when you work from home. So we can find ourselves working nonstop all day into the night and neglecting our health, neglecting our time off, taking time with family. So you really want to create boundary and structure right now if this is your plan to stay home.
Right. I agree. That's, I think, my biggest challenge is the boundaries and structure, because I feel like I just one more thing. I keep saying I'm going to go down the stairs and take a walk around the block and come back. And I never do. And then I look at my clock. It's like the end of the day where, it's terrible.
That's exactly. So what happens is you can actually go up a form of burnout by working from home. People think, it's just when I go into the office. But if you do not know how to turn it off and create a structure for yourself, you will burn yourself out. So it's really important to create those boundaries and structures if you work from home.
I agree 100%. Okay, your second tip is check in frequently and communicate constantly.
Yes. Now, I know if you may have a position and usually where you work remotely or you don't really communicate much with your boss or you work rather independently, this may feel a little awkward, but it's really important for you to be seen. So you communicate, you want to have a check-in. You can just set one day a week as your check-in day to say, hey, I'm just going to sit down with my manager, my boss, let them know what I've worked on, just share everything so they know what you're doing. Everyone's abreast of it. And the best thing to do as well is to try to do it visually as opposed to auditorially. So but just schedule one little quick 30-minute Zoom call once a week with your boss or just to give a rundown of. We don't want to have too many Zoom meetings because that is causing some Zoom fatigue for a lot of people who are constantly in front of the Zoom, right? So definitely want to make sure you're checking in frequently. You can send emails during the week, but once a week for like 30-minute face-to-face conversation. They see you, they're still connected with you, and you're working well.
Okay, let's talk about the art of self-promotion. How do we do that?
Yeah, so this is the thing, particularly women struggle with really promoting themselves, right? Mm-hmm. We tend to do great things, but we look for other people to give us the congratulations for it. But they may not notice when you're working remotely. So it's nothing wrong with sending a little note, sending a little email, and letting them know of your big and little wins that you've gotten. So they know that you're still working toward developing your role that you're in. You're still giving value to the organization. You're still contributing and making a valuable contribution, even though you're working from home. So make sure that whenever you have a big or even little win, that you communicate that readily and quickly so that they know that you're doing some great work, even remotely.
That's so important. I love that one. And this one I love so much. Do less, better.
Yes, do less, better. So here's the deal. Most of the time, so remote working can, particularly if it's not something that usually your organization. So oftentimes employers feel like, I want to make sure you're working, so let me give you a ton more work. Or you may feel guilty that you're working from home thinking, well, I'm saving time, so let me take on more projects and do more. But that's only setting you up for failure and doing, as I said before, keeping you working nonstop day to night. So just know the parameters of your role and just do them better. Do your job excellently well remotely. You don't need to take on more. You don't need to prove that you can work from home by overloading your plate with more work. So just be careful about making sure you're working within the role and responsibility of what was given you. If you see a project that's going to advance your career, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you can't do that, but don't take on more just because you think you're at home. Just do your role better.
I love
right?
that.
So
Yep.
you can do less better without having to say, oh, let me give me more. And when your employer tries to heap more on as you're at home, just let them know what you're doing. And by staying in touch frequently, by protecting your boundaries, then you'll have clear communication. So you're doing your role and you're doing it at your absolute maximum, at optimal level.
Right. And then you also talk about networking. That seems tricky to network right now.
Yeah, well, networking actually is really easy because now you can, email colleagues around the organization without anyone seeing you in their office, right? So you can really kind of do it in stealth mode without people wondering, why are you over here in this department, right? And so this is a great time to just reach out. And again, it raises your visibility in the organization.
Right.
Reach out to key people, have conversations, schedule little coffee chats with people around your organization so that you can still raise your visibility, get known, and network for other opportunities that may help you developing your career with the organization or maybe someplace else if you decide to leave.
I love that. Okay, and then finally, pay attention.
Yes, pay attention. Now, the reason you want to pay attention is because organizations are still figuring out how they're going to do business right now. They're still looking at roles and responsibilities. They may start restructuring a few things. They may decide a department that they had doesn't need to be there anymore, or they may be revamping even your own position or the department that you're in. So just keep your ear open to how the organization is thinking about your role and your area where you work, and just stay on top of your skills, stay on top of what you have to offer, so that if there is going to be some adjustments or changes, you can still make yourself a very valuable member and contributor to the organization. So they still consider you valuable, even if your role needs to shift or change.
Right. Such helpful information. Thank you so much, Carol.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, we'll have all of her information on our website at